Pakai mic?
Ya Kak.
Ladies and gentlemen, every successness is not only coming from ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. There are so many external impact on how we can reach our destiny, on how we can reach our goals, which is we have to take account in this external impact, because we cannot deny how big our environment have influence to us. So that is why when this motion is exists, where we only glorify ourselves, when we had already success to reach our goal, we had already success to reach our destiny, is something that is not good at the very first beginning, ladies and gentlemen. So here we, as the opening government side of the house, we're trying to define this self-made success itself, ladies and gentlemen. The self-made success in here is that on how that you try to introduce to the society, to another people, that your successness that you got is purely coming from what your is truly purely coming from your own sacrifices, determination, and your willingness, ladies and gentlemen, without explanation more on what kinds of things of source of any kinds of reference on why you want to sacrifice like that, on why you want to determine like that, and why you can have that willingness at the very first beginning, ladies and gentlemen. In this self-made success, it shows that there are disintegrated you of the external impact that you got at the very first beginning, ladies and gentlemen. And there are two major points why this self-made success is totally we should regret. First, why this self-made success is something impossible at the very first place, and second of all, on why by believing this impossible thing is not something good, is toxic towards the society, ladies and gentlemen. First, coming to my first argument, which talking about the self-made success is something impossible, ladies and gentlemen. Self-made success is really the content that you make those determination, those decision. There are so many external that you need to have a rationality, to have a determination and consideration like that, ladies and gentlemen. Regardless, this determination is coming from yourself. You need a process, ladies and gentlemen. What kind of process that I mean in here is that you need to process through the experience, through the how you got the inspire, and also on how you want to implement in by your way itself, ladies and gentlemen. Why it's really important? Because through this experience and also through this inspiration, it's creating the mindset of you. It's creating the rationality inside of your mind on how you actually should going well, ladies and gentlemen. Because we believe at the first beginning is that the successness is not coming from you born as the success people, ladies and gentlemen. So that is why this. By glorifying this self-made success is actually giving the narrative towards the society that you were born with the successness at the first place, ladies and gentlemen. Why it's not good? It is not good, ladies and gentlemen, because the creating those willingness is coming from your how you can create your incentivize on yourself first, on how you create those spirit, ladies and gentlemen. For example, why I want to joining this debate competition, because I believe that this debate competition is actually giving so much benefit for me, ladies and gentlemen. For example, on how I can create my critical thinking, on how I can socialize with the other people, on how I can be open-minded, ladies and gentlemen. So that is why if I have no determination, or I have no willingness at the first beginning, the way it is not totally I need to glorify my self-made success through this debating, but I need to glorify on how I got this incentivized at the first place, ladies and gentlemen, because this environment will evacuate so much so high, so the people tend to imitate for something that for something that good, then it's become the really big external impact to you, ladies and gentlemen. So what we want here as the government is simple. We want to glorifying all the supporting system behind the successness of every individual, ladies and gentlemen. So jumping to my argument, in my second argument, we're talking about the why by believing this self-made success is something that impossible. It's not a good thing to begin with, ladies and gentlemen. First, the glorifying by self-made success itself is on how you emphasize yourself when you want to sharing your experience, ladies and gentlemen. Why it is really problematic? First, there are so media that will only exposure on how you struggle, ladies and gentlemen. The struggle is only by yourself in order to reach their goals, ladies and gentlemen. So why it's still problematic? Because what you try to deliver with the society will be countable and will be heard by the society, and society will believe on those way of thinking, ladies and gentlemen, on how you only emphasize yourself without trying to glorify why you have the determination like that, ladies and gentlemen. And also some people will believe, and in the worst case perhaps some people will not. But why? When people believe, it will become a problematic even more, because when people believe on what you try to glorifying your self-made success, the narrative that you're trying to give in the society is impossible will become irrational towards the society. Why? The people will try to limit themselves on how they got the external impact, because people will tend to believe only all in their decision, ladies and gentlemen. Like the decision on how your future is all in your hands, ladies and gentlemen. But before you got this decision, you have to get this person, as I said before, ladies and gentlemen. And then in the worst case, even if people are not believe with what you try to deliver to society, it still become the problematic, because the information that you're trying to bring to the society is still there, ladies and gentlemen, and still have a tendency on how people itself trying to exposure in other people, ladies and gentlemen. So that is why this self-made success itself is something that is impossible. Then by believing this impossible thing is not a good thing, because it can be a toxic to the society perspective, and we want to glorify on how you're evolved to have the decision rather than you reach the goals. It's better to have a fundamental thing of you why you have this decision rather than the only glorifying your reach goal. I think that's all. Thank you very much for to propose this motion. Thank you.
Prime Minister spent 7 minutes and 6 seconds. To open the case from the open opposition, I call the leader of the opposition. Time is yours.
Before that, please for all the participants and people in this room untuk diam sebentar supaya edunya juga bisa lebih fokus.
Lebih senyap.
Tes.
I think self-made success is not saying that other people are not helpful towards your success, but self-made success is saying that I can succeed mainly by the factor of my own ability, and that my ability should be the main focus of my evaluation, and that I can try other opportunities to make sure not I am only defining my success as only working in a job field where I will not succeed, and that I can maybe make a successful corporation such as Mark Zuckerberg making Facebook, or maybe Kylie Jenner making a new kinds of scandalous things that she wants, ladies and gentlemen. So I think as opposition, ladies and gentlemen, we want the glorification to happen to make sure that there is a balance of seeing what success is, so people can see that successfulness are not only very narrow, where you must able to engage with a system that is very hard. You can try other opportunities in which we support, ladies and gentlemen. Two direct responses towards seeing opening government. One, they say that in the current status quo, self-made successfulness are not good because it is very individualistic. This is wrong because self-made success is not like that. It's showing that we can work together in the process, but if I want to be successful, you must be able to evaluate yourself constantly, and that if you want to explore yourself, it's possible at the very first place. But secondly, ladies and gentlemen, I think in the current status quo, self-made successfulness is much better for you to cooperate. Why? Because you are not going to blame other people because of your wrongfulness, ladies and gentlemen. You evaluate yourself. What did I do wrong? Not saying, oh, you are do wrong. I did not do any wrong in the current process, ladies and gentlemen. So I think you are better to cooperate because you see that there are maybe internal factors that I must change in order to pursue my successfulness, ladies and gentlemen. But even if you want to be egoist, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be okay, because if you want to prioritize your successfulness rather than trying to cooperate with other people, it's perfectly fine, ladies and gentlemen, as long as it is your own personal happiness other than people's happiness at the process, ladies and gentlemen. Then secondly, they talk about rationality, that in the current status quo it's not possible, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to prove to you in my argument and integrate this why even if it's going to be fail, it's going to be okay, ladies and gentlemen. First argument, I'm going to prove to you why in an individual level, self-made success gives more motivation, and secondly, why in a more collective level, it's going to be better because it creates a narrative that is healthy for people to be able to compete much innovatively, ladies and gentlemen. One, why do the glorification of self-made success gives more motivation? Notice, ladies and gentlemen, that in the current status quo, what we define as being successful is very narrow and very dire, ladies and gentlemen. In the current status quo, most people fail. Most people are unable to achieve successfulness, ladies and gentlemen. In that process of direness, ladies and gentlemen, they always ask three questions in their head, ladies and gentlemen. Are there any alternatives, ladies and gentlemen? In the current status quo, without self-made success, the only alternative is stay in that system and never improve, ladies and gentlemen. You are stuck in your job field, are able to be promoted, ladies and gentlemen. These kinds of people that have never given any potential need an alternative to seek betterness in their life, ladies and gentlemen. Precisely, self-made success gives you these kinds of opportunities because it shows to you that maybe you can try to explore yourself in other platforms, ladies and gentlemen. Such as in the current status quo, so much people get out from jobs and try to make their own businesses, and they succeed because they see that in the current status quo, my unexplored potential is actually very good, but the current narrative that they want to protect limits these kinds of potential because it always stays to them. If you want to make businesses, it's very hard, ladies and gentlemen. So I think in a comparative, in our side, you have better opportunities to make a narrative that says you have better opportunities in the current status quo, ladies and gentlemen. So in our side, the comparative is very clear. You have better opportunities to access betterness for your life in the current status quo, ladies and gentlemen. But secondly, the next question is, ladies and gentlemen, what factors make me fail if I fail, ladies and gentlemen? Like I say, that in the current status quo, when you fail, ladies and gentlemen, in their side, they never try to evaluate themselves because they always see other people are at fault for that failure, ladies and gentlemen. They never see what are the self-made wrongdoings that I have done in the current status quo. In our side, self-made success pushes you to say that maybe it's yourself because that successfulness are not being achieved at the very first place, ladies and gentlemen. But lastly, in the worst case scenario, ladies and gentlemen, if they want to say that in the current status quo, self-made success have more probability of failures, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's going to be okay. Because the next question for people that are failing that they make, ladies and gentlemen, is, am I actually satisfied with myself, ladies and gentlemen? In the current status quo, when people fail, ladies and gentlemen, the main question that they ask themselves is, did I do the best for myself? Did I do all of my potential in the current status quo? This kind of question, gentlemen, can be answered in their side, because the moment where they ask that question, they cannot be taking any other alternatives. But in our side, the moment where self-made success exists in the current status quo, even if you fail, the moment you are failing, ladies and gentlemen, you are not going to be sufficiently satisfied with yourself, because you already accept yourself and say, I've done my best. This is the best thing that I can do for myself, ladies and gentlemen. So even if that I fail, I'm satisfied that I'm doing all of the best that I can, ladies and gentlemen. Thus you accept your wrongdoings and you accept your failures, ladies and gentlemen. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, our side gives you the alternative that self-made success not only make individuals are more happy towards themselves, ladies and gentlemen, but also in the worst case scenario, they're able to seek happiness in their life, ladies and gentlemen. Government must explain to you not only why in their side successfulness can be done, but they are also explain to you why current alternatives are actually potential and effective in making people to be happy in the very first place, ladies and gentlemen. Second argument, why as a collective, this glorification of narrative is important to make better innovation, ladies and gentlemen. The ideal world that we want to define from team opening opposition, ladies and gentlemen, is that in the current status quo, we want society to be able to be innovative, ladies and gentlemen. In the current status quo, we make programs such as KUR to make people able to make businesses, ladies and gentlemen. We make programs for them to innovate themselves, ladies and gentlemen. The main focus of this is in order for them people to explore the potential, ladies and gentlemen. I think that these narratives creates this alternative and make people as a collective able to create this healthy environment where they know that there is alternative, ladies and gentlemen. I think in a comparative, ladies and gentlemen, in the current status quo, in their side, when they are not using these kinds of glorification, ladies and gentlemen, people are less likely to access these kinds of programs, because they always see that these kinds of programs are going to be harmful towards their self-ability to be able to sustain themselves, ladies and gentlemen. So I think this is harmful because this is a waste on how they are able to access their best potential, ladies and gentlemen. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I think the best comparative that you must take as an educator in this debate is in which side it gives more motivation towards people so that they can get successful not only for themselves but also for their happiness, ladies and gentlemen. Very proud to oppose.
The Dr. President spent 7 minutes and 21 seconds. To extend the case from the opening government, I call the Deputy Prime Minister. Time is yours.
Panels, basically Farid has proven to you into two important things. First of all, in regards to why self-made success is inherently impossible, we have explained to you that in every specific of your success, there's always other contributions coming from other, be it directly or indirectly. Even your idea coming from the experience that you see from the people, even your idea of your success coming from the failure of the people. Thus you feel that it is never possible to glorify the self-made success. Because what happened within self-made success is that people will try to perceive that it is eventually possible to have the success by your own without any assistance from other kinds of people. Farid also has given to you an explanations in regards to why glorifications of impossible thing is going to be very toxic. It's going to be further explained in my substantive material. But first of all, in regards to this, Firman has proven to you into one single argument in regards to why they say that within these kinds of self-made success, people, if they perceive that self-made success is possible, they will blame others for their failure. They will maximize their kinds of potential. They will try million times for any kinds of their effort. But never did they try to explain why this is need to be exposed and why it is very necessary to be glorified from the very first beginning. We don't think that there is a kinds of exclusive explanations why this case is very important. Because we think that even if without the glorification, if you are coming from a very positive vibes people, you will always try in every kinds of your effort in try to achieve the success. You will always do these kinds of things, ladies and gentlemen. There are no any kinds of explanation why it is exclusively only can happen if the glorification of self-made success is conducted. We think that these kinds of things still will happen even if the glorification never, even if the self-made success never been glorified. Two arguments in my substantial material. First of all, why this glorification ends up badly. Second, to everyone, and also for the people who contribute to every kinds of success that people have get. And second of all, why glorification will overshadow other types of success and why it is very bad. First of all, why this glorification ends up very badly? First of all, we need to recognize that human in every kinds of things that they conduct, they need recognition from others, ladies and gentlemen. We believe that that's why in most of your action, you always try to impress others for your kinds of conduction. We believe that recognition is something that is so promising that makes you want to give contributions over something, because that is the only thing that can make you, that can promising because recognition is something that can make you want to donate over something. We believe that in every kinds of contribution, no matter how small it is, public acknowledgement is very important. Why? Because it will give you sense of appreciation. Public acknowledgement, you will end up possibly to be famous as well and easier to access to financial benefit also. So what's happening in the glorification of self-made success? It is always glorified that there are no any kinds of contribution from every success. Let's say, for example, that the success of Mark Zuckerberg never always glorified or always exposed as the only idea coming from the Mark Zuckerberg, but without ever exposing that the ideas and any kinds of assistance coming, the source of idea or any other kinds of assistance coming from it. We believe that these kinds of recognition and public acknowledgement will trigger your other contributions over other things. So what's happening in our world is that no matter how small contributions you can give in any specific actions, you will always try to give that tiny contributions because every little contribution is going to be appreciated. In their words, in the glorification of self-made success, where success is recognized as can be achieved by personally, we don't think that can be happen because people who can contribute a very little thing is going to think that this kinds of contribution is not going to be recognized, and they will choose to opt out from that kinds of very specific contributions that they can, ladies and gentlemen. Even if later then they say that the supporting system frequently come from close relatives that have no interest to be recognized, that have no interest to be acknowledged, we think that they still have a burden to explain why it is okay to disregard their contribution, because we believe that as an epitome of appreciation, regardless whether they want it or not, it still has to be given. No matter people want that kinds of appreciation or not, it is still okay to give them that kinds of appreciation. Second of all, why we think that glorification will overshadow other types of success beyond self-made success, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, we believe that the glory of self-success, that is glory of a self-success, promising a very decent life for people. For the people who achieve self-made success, it is always exposed that they are, owing to their self-made success, they were end up privileged. They have a very decent life and they have a very luxurious life. What's happening is that people will see that the only way or the very exclusive way in order that can be gain that kinds of privileges is to gaining the self-made success. Here's what is going to be happen. They are going to disregard the things that self-made success is not accessible to everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Why do you say that self-made success is not accessible to everyone? First of all, because it needs much capital. We believe that in every kinds of business and every kinds of company that you want to establish, you need more capitals to begin with. But moreover, second of all, even if you don't have that capital, you need a very genius brain that is very rarely to be possessed by everyone. Thus, we believe that this kind of self-made success is nearly impossible to be achieved. But owing to that glorification, people will try to pursue that because it promises a very promising thing. Ladies and gentlemen, we believe that the fact that it is not accessible for everyone is very bad, because if it is end up glorified, because what will happen in this kinds of scenario is that people will still force themselves to get that kinds of thing, regardless their characterization, regardless their measure, whether it is accessible for them or not, because it is still possible that underprivileged society is still try to achieve that even if they are out of capital to begin with. But moreover, what will happen when people force that there will be high possibility that people will fail, ladies and gentlemen. owing to this glorification, if people end up fail in regaining these kinds of self-made success, is that their failure is going to end up where they got despair, ladies and gentlemen, and put any kinds of perspective that without self-made success, there are no other kinds of ways, there are no other kinds of alternatives that they have, that they are going to be success, that they are going to have these kinds of more decent life, ladies and gentlemen. Because it's going to end up despair, they think and they will perceive themselves as have no longer opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. Owing to this glorification, if they say that they will still try to be success in other way, we think that this is the way that we regret the glorification. Because what will happen in the glorification is that it will make people always put this on the top of priority and disregard other types of success, ladies and gentlemen. But moreover, the most jeopardizing effect is that it will make them stop or very difficult to have a self-recovery upon their failure, ladies and gentlemen. Thus, we believe that self-made success from the very first life is very unnecessary to be glorified. We're proud to propose.
Deputy Prime Minister spent 7 minutes and 21 seconds. Deputy Leader of the Opposition, time is yours.
Oh ya. Tes. Tes. Ladies and gentlemen, in Team OO, what we mean by self-made success is how you make the initiative to make your own success. It does not always mean that you always do it your own self. You also have the contribution from others. But the tipping point in that term of self-made success is how you concern on yourself, on how you consciously saying that this is I'm the one who needs to initiate the success that I want in my life, ladies and gentlemen. The moment when you consider it to yourself, that's the moment when you also can be able to consider other people, ladies and gentlemen. So the progress is like that. They say that we dismiss the people contribution. This might be true in the process, right? But the thing that we want in today's debate is that how they have to focus on themselves first. If they think and consciously admitting that they are the one who contributes and the one who initiates this, they can be able to open their mind, open their eyes, that they have to make other people's contribution into their project, for example. So the moment they can be able to consciously saying that this is my initiative, they can be able to rationalize who are, for example, the one who contribute to my project, for example, who are the one who contribute to my success, ladies and gentlemen, in the end of the day. They say that self-made success also already exists in our status quo, but this is not glorified. Exactly, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot just rely on the flying narrative of self-made success. We need to make it come to the ground and make everyone aware on it, because this construction on how you should be success in your life is already very toxic in our society, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, we have to glorify it to the extent of you make that everyone are making their own success, ladies and gentlemen. So my extension will be talking about 2 points. First, on the self-made success, how it gives inherent opportunity for people to create and build their own success and be rewarded by their own effort. And second of all, how self-worth and contribution of others, right? So first of all, on the first extension, so how exactly our status quo right now, right? Besides the people contribute to your success, there are also construction that contributes to how you act and you behave upon your success, right? For example, in status quo, people's opportunity upon being success are constructed on the inherent characterization of their background, on which family and environment they develop and nurtured. First, when you grow up in area where your families are generation of doctors, you will become a doctor too. Second, if your families are are businessmen, most likely you will continue the success your parents have made. Why this is exactly happening? First, besides the social construction Firman already explained, second, we also people believe that parents always invest and backing up their children whenever it is, ladies and gentlemen. The problem are people always affiliate the success to whom their families are. They diminish the possibility of individuals gaining their own idea, gaining their own capital and effort by themselves, ladies and gentlemen. We understand that they may getting help. This might be true, but the problem is people don't care, because inherent characterization and the act of family would most likely do is to assist and support their children. This is so strong, since first the narrative that since you are a child, you cannot do everything by yourself. When you are 15, you cannot do everything by yourself. And the second construction of how social ladder, Firman already explained that you cannot climb it in the end of the day. So how does it look like when people can build their own narrative that they make the success on their own? That it is self-made. First of all, it makes society judge and value these specific individuals based on their success, how they narrate it and tell their story to society. Value the value that the sacrifices are made based on the hard decision and the process of sufferings by themselves. They will stop saying that your parents. They will stop saying your parents' name upon your success when you tell it to other people, ladies and gentlemen. And why society's behavior in affiliating your success with your parents and your background is damaging you. This feeling that you are being reliant and depending upon it. Why it is bad? Two analysis on the individual's level and other society, right? In individuals, if people keep affiliating your success on your background and your family, you will feel that all the sacrifices, the effort, the success that you made never be rewarded back to you. People will not see you as yourself and will not see your success is earned from all the sufferings and have made. But just because your parents are capable, because your environment are good, because you grow up in a competitive market, this is wrong, because even in the most privileged environment, competition and how you should achieve certain standard and expectation are also hard. You compete with other privileged, ladies and gentlemen. In our scenario, when people have alternative of going to make their own success and create narrative that they become what they are now, is because their effort. This is the problem, right? People criticize Kylie Jenner because they assume that she's privileged, and Mark Zuckerberg deserves because he literally starts from zero. This is harmful because people judge their success from their background and where they were, not what they have done, ladies and gentlemen. So on the level of other people and society, how it would look like. People who thinks that the success are made because of their background will be discouraged. The fact that people's construction is you success because your background, other people will get the narrative that if you are not like Kylie Jenner, if you are not like Mark Zuckerberg as hard worker and capable in coping up with failure, then you can never be success. Additionally, with the current social ladder that you cannot climb, the system expectation that you cannot pursue too, so you will not have any alternative in your status quo, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, it affects on how people in general also will think. But how not affiliating your success with your parents can create your own self-evaluation. If you feel that your own success, you inherit it from your sadness and failure, and people see it on you, not your background, you will feel that you own it. You will feel the sense of belonging to what you have right now. If you have the sense of belonging to what you have right now, you will more sensing it that it is because of me. I should evaluate what I have done in the past back then, ladies and gentlemen. So if other contribution will glorify, most likely you will evaluate it with other people. You will, for example, blame other people. This is because his contribution. This is because what he did to me, and this is because because he doesn't agree with my decision, ladies and gentlemen. So therefore, the self-evaluation will not happen in their side of the house. But second argument, right, on the self-worth and contribution, we say, ladies and gentlemen, Mark Zuckerberg does not make Facebook alone, right? He also make a collaboration with others. But the self-made success that we want is that you focus on yourself internally. Imagine that he thinks that he cannot make a Facebook by himself. He rely on others. This is harmful because your standard of success is relying on other contribution, ladies and gentlemen. If you feel that other contribution is very vital for you, you will most likely think that I cannot do it myself. I cannot do it my own. So this is the harmful thing that we don't want. We want everyone to have the initiative themselves and create the narrative that you can make your own success, regardless who you are cooperating with, and regardless who are the capital that you have, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, if you conscious that you can make this self-success, you also can be able to rationalize the self-evaluation that you can make to yourself, but also to other people in the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, vote for Team OO.
Deputy Leader of all the decision spent 7 minutes and 14 seconds. To open the case from the Quasi-Government Act, call the member of the government. Time is yours.
Fira, kenapa keluar komiknya?